Hello, scholars. So this is the how-to portion of Lesson 14, which is the lesson for Wednesday, June 3rd and June 4th. And so this video is going to show you how to do the actual assignment for the lesson. You should have watched 2 videos before this about the characters and the plot of Romeo and Juliet. If you have not done that, stop this video and go back and watch those 2 videos first. So this is lesson 14. This is day 50 and 51, depending which day you're doing it, of online learning. Let's get started. So this week you had 2 lessons. Lesson 13 was on Monday and Tuesday, and lesson 13 is all about turning in your essay. So making sure that you have turned in your essay and you've done it correctly in MLA formatting and you've used the editing checklist. So please, if you have not done that, go back and look at lesson 13, which is posted on Google Classroom. This video goes with lesson 14, which is about Romeo and Juliet. So like I said, you should have watched 2 videos already, one about the characters of Romeo and Juliet and one about the plot. And now I'm going to show you how to do the annotating of the prologue. Our objective for today is we will read and annotate the prologue of Romeo and Juliet in order to rewrite the text in our own words, indicating our interpretation of Shakespearean language and themes. This assignment, you're just going to try your best. Don't worry. As long as you try, you will get credit, and I'll be able to see what you think. So let's get out of here. All right. So on Google Classroom, you're going to see the assignment for today. It has the dates, June 3rd and June 4th. Lesson 14, Romeo and Juliet begins. So let's just add up here that it's lesson 14. You should have watched the cast of characters video. So you should watch this one called Romeo and Juliet Characters. You should watch the plot video, Romeo and Juliet Plot. I know that they're a little long, but it's going to tell you everything you need to know about Romeo and Juliet because we're not going to have a lot of time. We only have about 2 weeks left of the marking period. So we're going to watch a lot of this play. And if you don't know the basics of what happens, you're not going to know what happened before or after what we're watching, and you're going to get very confused. Now, I do want you to have a chance to read some of the original play. So today you're going to just read the prologue of the play. Oops, fixed my spelling. Again, there's the objective. So after you watch these 2 videos, you're going to open up this assignment, and this will be one that everybody has a copy of. And once you open this assignment, it's going to look like this. Let me zoom in just a little. So you're going to fill in your name. You're going to fill in your teacher's names. You don't have to fill in English 1, but you are going to fill in the date. So you're either going to put 03 because you have class on an odd block, or 04, or maybe you did it late, so you're going to put in whatever date you did it on. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put all your answers in blue. When you get to question 1, it asks you to write a summary of what happens in the play Romeo and Juliet based on the videos about the characters and the plot. So you should have watched those 2 videos here. And based on those 2 videos, you're going to write a summary here. Your summary should be about 5 to 7 sentences. Okay. I should, because Romeo and Juliet is the name of a literary work, I should put it in italics. Next thing you're going to do is look up and define what a prologue is, and then you're going to fill in your answer here. Last thing, you're going to look up and define what a Shakespearean sonnet is, and your answer is going to go here. Now you're going to read and annotate the prologue to Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet. It asks you to use the list below to show your work. So Here's the list of what you're annotating, and here's the prologue. And it's in a little bit lighter font so that it's a little different. The first thing it asks you to do is in bold font at the end of each line, label the rhyme scheme. So the rhyme scheme is going to be where you label with letters the words that rhyme. So dignity would get an A. And remember, I need to do it in bold font. And I'm actually going to make my font blue so that it's easier for my teacher to see. Scene, dignity, they don't rhyme. Mutiny, dignity, those two rhyme. Scene doesn't rhyme with dignity, so I'm actually going to make scene a B. When I get down here, unclean. Unclean and scene rhyme together, so I would put a B. Foes. Foes doesn't rhyme with dignity, and foes doesn't rhyme with scene. So foes is going to get a C. Life. Life doesn't rhyme with dignity. Life doesn't rhyme with scene. Life doesn't rhyme with foes. So life would get a D. Overthrows. That rhymes with foes. So that would get a C. So you're going to continue down the entire poem doing the rhyme scheme. Then you're going to highlight repetition in yellow. Repetition is when two words repeat. So here, I'm going to read it out loud to myself, and anytime I see something that repeats, I'm going to highlight it. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. So here it's repeating the word civil. So I'm going to highlight that. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes. Here I'm noticing that there's a repetition of a sound. The F sound is repeated in forth and fatal and foes. I also noted the same repetition in the word household. So I'm going to go back and actually, now that I think of it, I can always go back and revise my work. A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. To which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Okay, so I did the repetition. Highlight words that relate to two or a pair in blue. This is going to be just your opinion. So for example, two. Well, that reminds me of a pair or two. So I'm going to do that in blue. Both. That implies that there are two people. Both. Two foes. Two. A pair. A pair has to do with two. Two hours. Okay. Highlight pairs of opposites in green. So here, I'm going to look for things that are opposite that I'm going to highlight in green. So here, I'm noticing that it talks about life. And a few lines later, it talks about death. And those are two opposites. This part, I'm not going to do so many examples for you. I want you to see if you can find more opposites. And then last but not least, highlight and make a comment defining the following terms: mutiny, civil, star-crossed, and piteous. So you're going to go through and you're just going to look up what does the word mutiny mean, make a comment, and say mutiny equals, and you put the definition. Okay. Last but not least, why do you think Shakespeare uses repetition and pairs of two so often in the prologue? What could it represent? This is just your guess. And then rewrite the prologue in your own words. It can be in poem form like the original, paragraph form, or list form. What is the prologue saying or telling the audience? All right. These 2 questions, just do your best. Just try. That's all I'm looking for. Good luck.